friends, and welcome to Sustainable Prepping, your home for fear-free emergency preparedness and a sustainable life. My name is Brecky, and today we are talking about how to create your own emergency potty. It's not a sexy topic, but it's an important one. So I'm going to show you what I did to put together mine and how you can make one real fast. If you're new here, I want to say a great big welcome. I'm so glad you have found my slice of the internet. And if you're not new, I want to say welcome back. Don't forget to like this video and to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our fear-free emergency preparedness content. All right, so today we are going to talk about how you can turn a 5-gallon bucket into an emergency potty. Now, why might you want to have an emergency potty or an emergency toilet? I'm a mom, I use the word potty. It's because you may be in a situation where your plumbing goes out. This could be because of an infrastructure problem. Your pipes could freeze and burst. There could be an earthquake. You may be bugging out and taking this with you in your car. Or, and what is particularly relevant as of March 2022, you could be preparing for nuclear fallout and want to have a potty in your little dugout shelter. Whatever the reason, you definitely should have sanitation, and in this instance, bathroom sanitation in your emergency plan. This is something that can be done fairly inexpensively and easily. So I'm gonna walk you through what's in my actual emergency potty and how you can put together yours. Now, the first thing to note is that you need a good 5-gallon bucket, okay? I went with a gray one because it's the waste, right? It is letting everyone know that this is where the junky stuff goes. And I ordered a snap-on lid, okay? So this just snaps on and off. It is a lid. I believe I actually got this at Walmart. I think the bucket itself was $2 or $3 and the lid was maybe $10. So you're looking at less than a $15 investment. Now, you will see tutorials online for using a pool noodle as the seat to make it extra cheap, but I really recommend against that. And the reason is pool noodles are porous and they will absorb the fecal matter, they will absorb urine, they will absorb bacteria, and the last thing we want is to have any place that's a bacterial breeding ground. We really want to cut down on that. So I would go ahead and order a snap-on lid. It just snaps on, seals up, boom, you have it. I will leave links to everything I'm mentioning down below so that you can go and get your own stuff. Okay, so we have snapped off our lid, and I'm gonna show you what's actually in mine. The first thing these are toilet mints, okay? And what they actually are toilet paper that has been pushed down. Let me open and show you. They're little tiny toilet paper tabs, okay? And with a little bit of liquid, I would say spit probably, it opens up into a fairly large, okay, so with a little bit of water, you see it has expanded into essentially like a little paper towel, okay? And you get a decent sized bit of toilet paper, paper towel, whatever, okay? But you get all of this into these little tiny pocket-sized little wipes. So during the toilet paper craze back in 2020, I wanted to have something that I could put in a bug-out bag that I could more easily put into something like an emergency potty that wouldn't take up as much space. So I have several of these. I got, I think, 200, and this is maybe 75 of them. The rest are in my bug out bags. So I have this as a backup toilet paper option, but no, don't fear. I actually do have real toilet paper in here. So you're gonna wanna have some kind of toilet paper option, okay? Whether you decide to invest in something like these to take up less space, or you just take a couple of rolls and smush them down. And so even if you're a minimalist and you're low waste and you use reusable cloths on a regular basis, you do not want to do that in an emergency situation. You want to be able to get rid of all of your hazardous waste, okay? You don't want anything lying around. So this will be an opportunity to go out and buy that toilet paper for safety reasons. I also have gloves, and I have a spray bottle, an unused spray bottle, and I have borax, okay? And the reason is that I can mix borax with water into this spray bottle and use the gloves and create a sanitation solution. I do not like using bleach. Those of you who've been around know that bleach is not my favorite. Liquid bleach is not shelf stable for more than 6 to 9 months. Then it becomes unstable and it does not have the same cleansing properties. You can buy little pellets that are pool shock basically, and it allows you to make bleach. I have it, but I didn't want to store it in here, so I have borax. And borax can become a good sanitizer. So I would use the spray bottle with the borax spray in to spray down the seat as well as the bucket in between changing bags. Additionally, I have contractor bags. Now, contractor bags are what you are going to use to line your bucket, okay? This is what you're gonna actually use as your potty contaminant holder. And I'm gonna talk about that more in just a second. So you wanna have good, at least 3 mil contractor bags, and you want contractor bags, not regular trash bags. We do not want this leaking and creating a hazardous waste mess, okay? So you definitely want contractor bags. Additionally, I have hand sanitizer, I have a bar of soap, and I have more gloves, okay? So more ways to sanitize our hands after use, particularly if water is tight. And then I have soap if we do have non-drinking water that we can use for hand washing. There's soap in here, and more gloves because we're all about the sanitation. Okay, so when you're making your bucket, here you go, you're going to take a contractor bag. Okay, so here's a large contractor bag, and they're big, which is a good thing. And we're gonna take our contractor bag and we're gonna stuff it in, and we're going to create kind of a fold over, okay? And then you're gonna snap your seat right on top, and it does snap down. Now you have a potty, okay? This is your emergency potty. Those of you who've done a lot of camping, this might be something you are familiar with. And this is where you're gonna do your business, right? We're gonna keep the seat closed when we're not using it to cut down on smell. But here's the key, and here is the piece that makes this work, all right? Kitty litter. You can also use sawdust or pine shavings. Kitty litter is cheaper for me to get and easier to store. But you're gonna want something like kitty litter, sawdust, or pine shavings to absorb the liquid in your potty. So what you'll do is you'll do your business, okay? You will take a little scoop. I plan on getting like a third of a cup kind of scoop thing and just sticking it in here. You go potty, you scoop some kitty litter in, it's going to expand and absorb up all of your urine, okay, any liquid that's in here. And it's also going to cut down on smell, okay? So it's gonna absorb the liquid so it's not sloshing around, it's going to absorb the smell, it's gonna help cut down on any breeding for bacteria. And you're gonna use your potty until it gets about halfway full, okay? You don't want it to get all the way up or your bottom's touching anything. You're gonna make it so it's about halfway full. Then you're going to unsnap your lid. You're going to close it all up, tie it all off, and then take this away from wherever you are, away from any water sources, away from where any water runoff could be, preferably away from where any wild animals can get into it, because our fecal matter carries disease that our body is flushing out of our systems. So this becomes hazardous waste, and you're going to use it to get as far away as possible. Now, the reason we want to use contractor bags and you want a thick mill, like a 3 mil or thicker contractor bag, is because we don't want this to rip or tear. If this rips or tears in this process of unsnapping and then carrying it to wherever you have designated as your sanitation dump spot, you run the risk of all of that bacterial matter spreading. And in a lot of emergencies, people who survive the initial emergency, the earthquake, the storm, the grid down, they will often die of waterborne diseases, right? So typhus, for example, which is getting fecal matter into your water. We don't want that. So we really want to make sure that this gets really tied up tight and taken away. You may have a locking trash can. That will be a good short-term solution. You might have to dig a trench and cover it with rocks as a longer-term solution. But you are going to want to figure out a way to get this away from you. Now, if you're sheltering in place for something like nuclear fallout, which is one of the reasons I am making this video faster than I had planned to, you're going to need to designate a spot as far away from where your living situation is to store your waste, because you don't want to leave your shelter, right? We're sheltering in to keep the radiation down, but you are going to absolutely accumulate waste depending upon the number of people, how old they are, how, how their tummies are doing, how anxious they are. You can only have 1 or 2 bags, or you could have 4 or 5 bags depending upon how long you're there, and again, the number of people. The point though is you want to make sure this is stored as far away from where you're sleeping, eating, hanging out. So designate a corner. Go to where your shelter is now, your basement, wherever you plan on being if you need to shelter in place for a storm, for radiation fallout, for a civil unrest situation where you're kind of hiding in your safe room if you have one. You need to figure out and designate a spot now so you know where it's going to go. And you have it cordoned off, okay? You stay away from it. So here is everything that you need to create an emergency potty. It doesn't have to be fancy, it doesn't have to be hard, and it really doesn't have to be expensive. The only things you probably will need to buy are the 5-gallon bucket and snap-on lid. You definitely want to have contractor bags, though you may already have some if you use those for your shop, or if you use those for leaves or whatever. You want to use contractor bags. Getting some kitty litter, again, if you have cats, you may have some unopened kitty litter, but you want to have some that's dedicated. You don't want to accidentally find out you don't have it, and then have some kind of way to sanitize your potty. Now, it doesn't have to be borax. You can totally use whatever you want. If you love Lysol and you want to stick some in there, great. You're just going to have to change it every year or so it doesn't get destabilized. At the end of the day, this is one way that you can handle your sanitation before it becomes a large problem. And this is all about preparedness. We want to be prepared for any emergency, even the unlikely emergency that your plumbing could go out. Especially if you are currently planning for a long-term, so more than 72-hour shelter-in-place situation with the given tensions that we're experiencing right now. Having an emergency potty is just one thing, something that often gets overlooked, that can help you have a healthier, safer experience overall. And to do it in a way that keeps us away from anxiety and fear. I hope you're all doing well. I hope that you are not too anxious. I hope that this becomes a good, empowering project that you can get done and you can knock out really in just an afternoon. Until the next video, happy prepping.